Hello there, YouTube. I am your host, Wheelchair21. And first off, we can say that we finally have a name for this series, this show, this podcast that I'm running. And it's called Spin the Wheel. That was easily decided by like 12 votes over a Facebook status sharing the post to this video talking about how I wanted to name the series. And pretty much Spin the Wheel was like our unanimous pick. It was the only place where I got any feedback. No one really commented on the actual video or on Twitter or on the actual Wheelchair21 Facebook page. It was when I shared the post on the Facebook page to my personal wall, and people decided what the name would be. Nevertheless, we're going to be talking about Transformers Robots in Disguise premiere for the new season, Combiner Force, and we're also going to be talking about Tamashii Nation's World Tour New York. So, first off, Transformers Combiner Force season premiere. The Robots in Disguise premiere was pretty interesting. It was a two-parter, one full hour, and it pretty much dealt with the team dealing with our first Stunticon of, I guess, Menasor. And one thing was that Sideswipe and Strongarm were having issues working together again, and Bumblebee and the team kind of got really too relaxed, too weak, and they were getting really taken advantage of by this one Stunticon. And the one thing that was really cool was the fact that he really used homing missiles to really get them off their A game, even though they weren't even on their A game. And I also enjoyed the fact that one of the reasons why they had so much issues dealing with him was that they were near a nuclear waste facility. So they were afraid that if a missile exploded or got one of the areas where the, I guess, reservoir of nuclear waste was, that it would cause a huge issue. So when they finally stopped him, they all like dogpiled on top of them, which concussed every member. The Stunticon awoke and got away, and like it showed that they were fused into one combiner. And then when they finally awoke, they were separated and had no recollection of the event, as well as the battle with this Stunticon. It foreshadowed Soundwave coming back because obviously Frenzy showed up and merged with Bumblebee, allowing him to fly and help them take down the Stunticon. And then it also had the fact that this one Stunticon finds Bee's relic finder, his like navigator, and then takes it to what I'm guessing had to have been Motormaster. And the subplot was Russell dealing with his football game with his team against another team which had like this really tall kid and was really throwing him off. So the subplot was really just boring as hell, and the overall plot with the Stunticon was really interesting and really cool. I felt like it didn't need a full hour for them to just capture one Decepticon, and yet again, they didn't even capture him. However, it did set up quite a bit. I don't know how many episodes the season's going to have, but I mean, from what it just did already, we have at least two Decepticon factions, at least Soundwave by himself, and the Stunticons on their own trying to, take over Earth this time around. So, who knows where that's actually leading and how they're going to actually realize they fuse for Team B is going to be really interesting. And I have a feeling that the reason they were able to combine was due to their interactions with just that one Stunticon. Is that like they already know how to combine, so when they hit him, they've somehow learnt the ability off of him somehow, maybe, or maybe it was like because of the blast near the nuclear waste caused it. Who knows? Maybe just absorbed the bulk and unlocked it for all of them. I don't know, but it could be, some amazing elaborate explanation as time goes on, or it's just going to be, whoops, we have no explanation for this. So, now this is the main event, the Tamashii Nation's World Tour. So first off, it's probably best to talk about the exclusives that a lot of people went there for. They sold out within the first hour to 2.5 hours at the event. Like Goku sold out first, then we had the Athena Myth Cloth, then we had the Soul of Chogokin Mazinger Gold Edition, the Zaku Robot Tamashii, and then the Saint Seiya Appendix Mythcloth set sold out, and then it just came down to Body Coon and the stage and the weird little fat pudgy like figurine. And one of the biggest issues was that there was a few issues with the staff where the staff didn't know when people would come in asking them about where the line began, some of them were actually sent to the pre-sale line where you could get anything from Bluefin's booth that was recently released, like Figuarts, and the pre-sale items like Soul of Chogokin Megazord and Soul of Chogokin Go Lion slash Voltron, as well as the Street Fighter Figuarts and the Xenoverse Figuarts. So some people were put into that line, and others were actually shown where to go to get in the line for the uh, exclusives. Then when you got inside, if you were already standing outside, they were like asking you where's your form, where's your slip to help it make it easier for the clerks to just grab your items and check out. That like they weren't even handing those out to people, or at least telling them like how to get the flyers to sign it in for. And that was probably the biggest issue with when it came to the sales of the exclusives. It wasn't just the fact that they underestimated the, I guess, pure quantity of how many people would show up to this event, where like Tamashii features and the Tamashii festivals, the items don't actually sell out at all in the first few days. Like they still have for 3 whole days a stock, whereas this one is only a 2 day event. They normally can estimate how many people are going to be at their shows in Japan, as well as how much to make probably for the shows. Whereas here in North America, they underestimated the quantity of people in New York City, the quantity of people who would come by train from upstate or New Jersey or any nearby state just to attend the event for either one day or both days. And they sold out way faster than I think they estimated they would. And I think that was probably their biggest issue thus far, because people can see a lot of the stuff's either being scalped or just thrown up and purchased or sold to a friend real fast that couldn't attend. So that was probably one of the biggest issues. Now, coming straight on in from the event where you could just go in and view the displays, you are greeted with a giant statue of Figuarts Goku awakening a version, doing the Kamea wave, and having like a giant version of the Tamashii effects golden aura around him. You also have a few cases for the exclusives, and one of the best case for the exclusives was really the original color Athena on display, surrounded by the 12 gold cloths. That thing was just beautiful. It was elegant and marvelous. Then, as you go straight forward in, you have the Try Me booth where people could play with Figuarts and the Soul of Chogokin Daijujin slash Megazord. And just playing with that, it was amazing. It was good. My only fear with that actual product are the very small clips with the pterodactyl plugging into the mammoth, as well as the mammoth head plugging into its own dang body. That area just felt so unsafe. And above everything was the giant balloon of Shenron and the beach balls for the Dragon Balls. Now, to our left, there was the incredible Dragon Ball display. Now, the Dragon Ball display had like 8, I think, like display cases. There was one huge display case which kind of like tried to assimilate all of the eras of Dragon Ball into one case, like just Dragon Ball, Saiyan Saga, Xenoverse, Battle of the Gods, and I think the Frieza Saga. And then when you went over to the wall where it had like a TV monitor and like posters showing all the different eras and that promoting the franchise, one could see there was the Dragon Ball case, which just had Goku and Korin, and I think it might have had Shenron in it, or just had a poster for Shenron because Shenron was in the main case. Then you had your Saiyan Saga, which showed the exclusive Kaioken version Goku, Tien, Yamcha, Nappa, and early stage Vegeta. Next case had your Frieza Saga, which kind of tried to sneak regular Trunks in his jacket in there. Then you had the Cell Saga, which had the guys in their Saiyan armor. You had Vegeta, you had Goku Super Saiyan, you had Gohan, Teen Gohan Super Saiyan, the androids, and Cell. You had the Majin Buu era, which had adult Gohan in his mystic form. You had Super Saiyan 3 Goku, the newer version. You had Vegito, Majin Vegeta, and Gotenks. Now, those two I think were the newest ones. I think we had Gotenks at Tamashii features, but we had not yet seen Majin Vegeta until now, which looks splendid. I cannot wait to get that due to the fact that I like that version of Vegeta later on. Not just because of he's Majin Vegeta, I mean, like, I actually like that wardrobe he wore then. And then the Xenoverse case and the Battle of the Gods case were like right next to each other. And the Battle of Gods case was pretty cool. The only thing that they were missing was Vados and Champa from the Tamashii features show that was just like last fall. And I'm wondering if the only reason they weren't shown was because like even Japan hasn't finished like getting those figures ready for actual sale, that they weren't, shown or put on display. And then we go into the full on anime section, which weirdly enough, they stuck the Godzilla case in there. So when you go to your right, you have Sailor Moon across from your one Godzilla case, which just had most of the upcoming releases for the Monster Arts. The Sailor Moon had like the Zeros, the prop replicas, and a few other items I wasn't too knowledgeable of. Like there were like some weird cards, little like figurines. One looked like an actual music box. And then you had Naruto stuff, which actually revealed the Madara Uchiha figure art. There was a nice display of the Rasengan and Chidori clash that Naruto and Sasuke had as figure art zeros. And then you had some Kaneko Man back over by Godzilla. You had the Street Fighter figure arts, and then you had the Next Style Edge Mega Man stuff and Neon Genesis stuff. And over behind it, behind even way behind the pre-sale line, you had the Nimbus Cloud, which fans could take photos with. Which, ironically enough, Chris's cousin, or I should say GLE's cousin, Joe, just was in love with the Nimbus Cloud. He took like several photos on there, and we have those somewhere floating around on the internet. And ironically enough, when you go around or you go back over to the right of the whole Vanderbilt Hall display area, you'd have the Meisho manga realization, Marvel figures, and Star Wars figures, which actually got a whole lot of love by the attendees. Like, they were in love. They were actually either checking out the actual concept art for future figures not yet released or promoted for, as well as they were just interested by this, I guess, concept and design, because a lot of people were just like clueless to what the hell was even going on. So that really drew in a lot more fans than expected. Then you had your Power Rangers display, which just showed off Tamashii Buddies, and yet again the Soul Chogokin Daijujin. You had then also a Gypsy Danger Soul Chogokin, WWE Figure Arts, and the like live action MCU, DCU figure arts and TMNT figures, all like in few cases strung next to each other. And there wasn't really anything special about those, just because there was no new reveals, no new releases, and I don't know why that occurred. But most of the new reveals either were snuck into the anime cases, and the last thing I think there was a case for the English branch or the North American branch of Premium Bandai, which showed limited release version figure arts cross Ultra Act Ultraman, a few Robot Tamashis, and the special color edition Mothra, Larva, and Imago set. And that was pretty cool. So I like that they tried to promote their expansion to the North America by putting it near the actual sale booth, so people probably would notice it and see it. So now we could, just go online and order these things. Overall, I think the display was fine. I think they were elaborately composed. I think that just the Vanderbilt Hall was just a little too small for it, because at times it would be crowded due to how many people were actually wanting to look at the cases, or due to how many people were either just coming off or online to buy their items. And that was kind of like the whole clusterfuck of it all, to be honest with you all. It was just very jam packed at times, and sometimes you had the free range to move about and enjoy yourself. But overall, it was very fun. I hope they do it again, and I hope they have more stuff there. I know one of the biggest things I heard in complaints from, say, Power Ranger fans, where they were still complaining about no Sentai figure arts, but you really can't blame Bandai for the Japanese market kind of not being interested in the Super Sentai figure arts. There were some people actually wondering where Kamen Rider was, and now this is the one thing that actually caught off some of the staff when I was talking to them. I asked them where was the Laser Blade, since that is being distributed here to North America, and supposedly the people working for Bandai and the people working for Bluefin completely just plumb forgot that they were distributing that here to North America. Like, they were like, oh yeah, we are bringing that, or we already released it here. Why isn't it on display? And that was kind of funny because, like, even in their trailer for the Tamashii Nations, what how it was born and what it does, like promo video, hype video. It shows like a Gavin figure on display and the laser blade in the like video package. So I was like, yeah, I mean, you promote it in your damn video package to tell people what Tamashii Nations is, but yet it's not on display. And that was kind of funny that they completely just forgot they were distributing like a random tokusatsu item, which I found hysterical. So, like I said, I hope they do another in the future. I hope they have, better exclusives, a better assortment, and a better stock. And I hope they start realizing that American fans do want Figuarts again for Sentai and Kamen Rider. Now, I'm not going to force them to start, you know, act like I want to force them to, start distributing them or making just original Sentai Figuarts for here in North America, since we have the somewhat okay legacy line, but still, I just want them to acknowledge some of their faults, like at least the laser blade had a reason to be on display. Maybe Ultraman Figuarts should have a reason to be on display. But when I was like talking to one of them, they said that there was like right now a licensing issue. But I don't understand what the licensing issue could be if they're able to distribute the Ultra Act cross Figuarts. Maybe it has something to do yet again with the goddamn Chayo dispute, or it has something to do with maybe Crunchyroll's license with the simulcast of the product and the show. I don't really know. So, nevertheless, I enjoyed Tamashii Nation's World Tour. Everyone can possibly hope that there'll be one next year, and who knows, maybe we'll never get one again, or we won't see one till the 20th anniversary. So, yeah, that's all I can say. Anyways, if you enjoyed this episode, please hit a like. Also, subscribe if you just discovered this show, as well as go check out HeroClub.com for the full coverage of the event, as well as check out the other podcasts and shows we promote on our website, as well as all the other content we have for you all. And just follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and I'll see you all next time.